Good evening, everyone. Ground yourself, Morgan, and don't cry. It's been 5 very short years since I was given the opportunity and true blessing to be an Echo and Green Fellow. And I was here, and I wasn't even fortunate enough to do what these folks just did. We didn't get called up for this. We were still kind of, people were still keeping an eye on us. And I say us because it was my best friend Vanessa Garrison and I, and we applied for Echo and Green once, and we did not get in because our idea was rotten. And then we applied for it a second time after working in the field and getting our idea tight so we were undeniable. So what happened was we arrived in this very strange vintage hotel, and we were looking around, and, before that, back up. We were in this room in Manhattan in this fancy building, and I think we had to check in. We get up to the top of the room, we're sitting down, and the man across from me who's also applying, his name was Matt Smith, and his whole job was to survey genocides and ethnic cleansing, and he was telling me about mass graves, and he was documenting these atrocious situations in Myanmar. And on the left of me was this young 17, I think, year old at the time, who had graduated from MIT, who had the longest password I'd ever seen on his computer. And he was just shielding it from me. And I was like, I can't remember that, I'm dyslexic. And there was a sister and brother, I remember. They were sort of odd. They were sitting over, because they were so much smarter than everybody in the room, they couldn't talk, and they were just typing over here. There's another guy who arrived in a powder blue suit. He's an Indian guy who's doing sanitation for 600 million Indians. I mean, the list goes on and on, and I was like, who are these people? It's like the X-Men. There's no way I'm gonna get in here. So, listen, I just put it all out there. I did my pitch, and I ended it with a poem, because I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna do a poem, go all in. So, I did the poem, people were laughing, and some were crying. And long story short, we got in. Once I got to know my colleagues, I learned that not only they were just powerful social innovators, but they were just really good human beings. I mean, they were the top of just humankind. I mean, one of them had won the world record in India for swimming 70 hours. You guys remember that? 70 hours. I mean, these people were unreal. And to this day, I literally just called one of them on the phone. I said, I'm so nervous. I'm back here. But I just want to tell you that I love you so much. My class is my community. It is my tribe. It is my group of people who keep me sane. So let me tell you who I am, because my time's running out. My name is Morgan Dixon, and I run the largest health organization for Black women in the country. The organization is called GirlTrek, and I'll talk to this side of the room. The timer's over here, so I was avoiding you. It's called GirlTrek, and our mission is to inspire 1 million Black women and girls to walk outside their front doors every day, to walk in the sunshine for better health, because there's a health crisis that is disproportionately killing Black women at higher rates, faster, younger ages. 137 Black women die every single day like a plane crashing to the ground, every 11 minutes, from a preventable disease called heart disease. And nobody was talking about it. So my best friend and I had to make a value proposition out of saving the lives of our friends and family. And that felt impossible. So we sat in front of all these analysts, all these smart people at Echo and Green, and they helped us to make the case. They helped us to talk the talk. They helped me be able to stand in front of you today and get the respect that our mission deserves. So then, we had no money. We had no office. It was me and my homie from college. We had a fire in our bellies. We had empirical evidence that what we were going to do was working. Today, we have 150,000 women who are members, who are frontline social activists for health and healing across America, but that's not actually enough. There's 17 million Black women in America, and half of us are over a healthy weight. Why? Because we are immobilized, we are inactive, we are strapped with fear and trauma and all of the things that hold you in place. So we are activating these women, and when we do, we are unleashing the greatest source for social change in the highest need resources in America, which are mothers. So just imagine 1 million Black mamas walking through the streets of the highest need communities in America, and that's what GirlTrek does. So I will leave you with this. Just 2 weeks ago, I stood just on the side of the stage like this, and I watched a big video like my face that I don't want to look at. And on that screen was not me, but it was the one and only Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah Winfrey said, "I would like to introduce you to the seed planters, the GirlTrek leaders, Morgan, Dixon, and Vanessa Garrison," right? And I sat there and I said, is this happening after 5 years where Echo and Green was unsure? They had arguments. 5 years later, Vanessa and I walked on the stage to collect a prize of something called the Audacious Ideas. There are, thank you. If you know TED and TED Talks, TED unleashed something called Audacious Ideas, where they gave $400 million to just 7 organizations that they believed would be game changers. And GirlTrek is a game-changing idea. But I tell you, no one knew it until we were made credible and we were given the support we needed through this community in this room. And for that, I say thank you, Cheryl. For that, I say thank you to all of the partners. And I have run out of time, but I will leave you with one powerful example of this. It was 2013 that we got the fellowship. So I think it was 2015. There was a woman named Sandra Bland who died in police custody. And Sandra Bland was a member of our community in GirlTrek. And I had no idea what was happening. I get on an airplane after an organizer training. I sit in my seat and my phone is just blowing up. And I'm saying, what's happening? People are sending pictures of Sandy to me. Sandra Bland died in police custody. I was heartbroken. And the following year was just violence in my community, just death, just police shootings, just violence. And I'm asking women to wear bright blue shirts and walk and practice joy out loud and radical self-healing, and it didn't feel like enough or make sense. And I wrote Cheryl an email, and Cheryl called me back with the entire team listening on speakerphone, and she said, "How do we support you?" And that has been the position ever since. So please support this organization. And in the words of the great Mama Oprah that I call now, listen, I actually just met her on Thursday. I didn't tell you guys this. I just met her on Thursday. It was a lot. We'll talk about it over cocktails. It was a lot. But one of the things she says that just, I love her, one of her quotes is that the future is so bright it burns my eyes. And when I think about how good we're getting as a social innovation community at identifying untraditional talent, at looking at people who are closest to the problem to be bold and audacious about solutions, the future is so promising. It is so hopeful, and I have so much optimism, and I am not afraid. I am not afraid, and I know we can do this. So with that kind of promise and optimism, I am so excited to introduce you to 2 more fellows from this class. Thank you, and give them a warm welcome with me.